Hello everyone, welcome to MBA Karo. SRCC GBO is close by and I'm sure you must have been preparing well for the examination. In this video, I'm going to tell you how to crack this examination and what is the right strategy, attempt strategy, how much time to give to each section so that you can maximize your score. If you know about this examination, if you've seen the past 2 years papers, if you registered for the examination, you must have received a mail giving the link of past 2 years papers. Okay, I've uploaded the solution for 2023 as well. 2023 was very difficult as compared to 2022. Okay, so the cutoffs keep varying. So the first and foremost thing is, do not worry about the cutoff. That is the biggest problem with the students. They before the paper happens, they start looking at the cutoffs and decide ki kitna score lana chahiye. So that is the biggest thing, that don't worry what is going to be the cutoff. Try to maximize your score. So in this video I'm going to tell you that how to strategize your exam attempt so that you can get the maximum benefit out of it. If you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel for wonderful content on MBA preparation. Now, this is the examination structure. You have 160 questions to be done in 120 minutes. So definitely it's a speed based game. Right? अगर आप CAT की बात करते हो 120 minutes you have 72 questions, and other exams also, like SNAP, if you see 60 questions in 60 minutes, here you have 160 questions to be done in 120 minutes. Now if the level is easy, then probably people attempt good number of questions, right? Maybe people are able to attempt 100 plus, but if the level is difficult, maybe 70-80 attempts are good enough and you can clear the cutoff. So do not worry about the cutoff. It's just a game of speed that you need to understand. Now there is negative marking also involved in this, +4 and -1. So ensure that you do not make negative attempts. Please attempt whatever it is, attempt genuine. Now there are a lot of questions there, like 160 questions. So you can easily have good number of genuine attempts. कुछ एग्जाम ऐसे होते हैं जिसमें नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस लेस होते हैं, सो यू ट्राई टू टेक सम रिस्क so that अगर सही हो गया तो you may score well. But here you have sufficient number of questions, so please do not attempt unnecessarily. You will have enough questions that you can attempt genuinely. Okay, so ensure that you do not make negatives and lose your score. There is no sectional timing and there is no sectional cutoff. So these are the plus points of this examination. You can maximize your score in one of the sections. Let us say your data interpretation is good. Maybe you can score very well on this. You can score very well on quant. If your English is good, you can score high on English. Maybe आपकी quant कम है तो quant और DI में कम किया, logic और English में ज़्यादा कर लिया. So you have a lot of flexibility in this examination. There is no sectional timing. There is no sectional cutoff. Okay, but try not to avoid any section altogether. There are some students who say कि मेरी quant अच्छी नहीं है, क्या quant attempt ही ना करूं. See, go through the questions. Maybe ऐसा हो सकता है कि आप ऐसा मन में बैठ के चला गए कि quant difficult है, you are not good at quant, you skip everything, but later on you come to know that there were some doable questions in quant. So have a look at the questions, quick look, and then decide that whether you want to attempt some questions or not. So let's say your verbal is not good, but ensure that you see the section and maybe you can pick a handful of questions and attempt them. So do not skip anything altogether and try to maximize in your strong area. So you have a lot of flexibility of maximizing strong area. So remember this, you have to maximize your strong section in order to ace this examination. There is no sectional cutoff. And if there are multiple sections, try to maximize in them. Now, these were the cutoffs 2023 and 2022. Now, these keep varying every year depending on the difficulty level of the paper. 2023, if you see, the cutoff for general category was 209 out of 640. So these numbers are out of 640 because the pattern has been constant. And in 2022, the cutoff was 325. Now, if you see the percent drop in cutoff, 36% for general category, 33% for EWS, OBC, SC, ST. For every category, you see that there is a significant drop, right? So यहाँ पे थोड़ा कम ज़्यादा है, but usually you see that around 33 to 35%. आप कह सकते हो इतना cutoff dip हो गई. So that means the paper was difficult. It is not that just one category the cutoff has dipped. Usually you see that all the categories following a similar trend. So that means the paper was much difficult than 2022. Okay. Now what happens is people go with some expectation. Let us say a person X sitting in 2023 got with a mindset that 325 मेरी कट ऑफ है, आई हैव टू अटेम्प्ट अकॉर्डिंगली, और वो ज्यादा अटेम्प्ट करने के चक्कर में गलत अटेम्प्ट करके आ जाता है. और समवन हु स्टार्ट्स पैनिकिंग आफ्टर सीइंग द पेपर, realizing that they cannot clear the cutoff, and as a result they panic and are unable to attempt. So that is a wrong thing. Now it is the flip side also. Let us say 2024 में easy paper आ जाता है. Okay, so this was difficult. This was moderate. Like I would say, you wouldn't say that it was very easy. It was moderate. Now let us say 2024 में easy to moderate paper आ जाता है, and the cutoffs may go up to, let us say, 350. Just taking an example. Now what will happen? A person who has gone with 2023 data will see कि 209 cutoff जाती है and will be chilled. वो accordingly धीरे धीरे attempt करेगा कि मैं कट ऑफ क्लियर कर लूंगा 209. तो वो अटेम्प्ट करके आता है 250 तक, और बाद में देखता है कि कट ऑफ 350 चलेगी एंड इज वे बिलो द कट ऑफ स्कोर. ओके. एंड सम स्टूडेंट हु माइट हैव गॉन थ्रू प्रीवियस डेटा मस्ट हैव गॉन कि 325 से तो ज्यादा नहीं जाती, लेट मी अटेम्प्ट 325. वो कुछ ऐसे करके गया, वो 330 के करीब ले आया, बट एक्चुअल कट ऑफ वेंट डाउन टू 350. ओके. सो डू नॉट गो बाय एनी नंबर, try to maximize your score. Yeah, try to be as fast as possible. Do not look at the numbers, do not keep these things in mind, what will be the cutoff, right? Do not keep a target कि मुझे इतने क्वेश्चन करने हैं. Just try to, let's target that you have to attempt all 160 questions. How much you can do, that is your strategy. Okay. So whatever maybe you can attempt 60 questions. Okay, depending on your category, and the cutoffs will be decided based on that. Let us say you are able to attempt 60 questions, but those should be the best 60 questions that you could have done in the paper. That is the criteria. If you are attempting 80 questions, those 80 questions should be the best questions that you should have attempted in the paper. If you are attempting 95, that should be the best 95 questions that you should have attempted. So basically what I mean to say is you need to pick easy questions, attempt them. Okay. If you find difficult questions, avoid them. That is the case. Okay. So there will be easy questions, there will be difficult questions, there will be moderate questions also. So all the easy questions should be attempted in the paper. Now let me give you a section wise overview that how you should be attempting it. If we talk about the English section, you will get 2 RCs, okay, 10 questions, and non-RC 30 questions. So each section has 40 questions. Now for an average student, it takes around 12 to 15 minutes to attempt an RC, and non-RC you will hardly take 30 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe some people might finish it at 15 minutes also. Okay, कुछ 10 to 12 minutes में भी complete कर सकते हैं, because these are grammar based questions, mostly like error spotting, okay, or like fill in the blanks, etc. They do not take much time. So 20 minutes भी बहुत ज़्यादा लगती है, maybe 15 minutes. So if you are good in verbal, okay, then you may try to go and attempt RCs also. Not both, maybe one RC. अगर कुछ भी नहीं आता है, then you attempt the RC. Okay. बाकी सेक्शन में कुछ भी नहीं आता तभी आरसी अटेम्प्ट करना, अदरवाइज स्किप आरसी, बिकॉज दिस इज गोइंग टू कंज्यूम अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. जितने ट्रेन में 10 क्वेश्चंस करोगे उतनी देर में यहाँ 20 क्वेश्चंस बन जाएंगे इजीली, 20 to 25 भी बन सकते हैं. सो इट इज ऑलवेज अ गुड स्ट्रेटेजी टू स्किप आरसीज. Say, let us say, like you love reading, okay, but it is about the strategy that you are going to follow. ठीक है. There might be some students good at verbal, ठीक है, जिनके कैट में भी verbal में अच्छे स्कोर आया होगा, आरसी किए, but there it was a different game. RC was the majority of the paper, and you had 40 minutes for 24 questions. Here you cannot afford to solve RCs, so skip the RCs. That is the best strategy to attempt the verbal section. Now talking about non-RC, like try to attempt as many questions. Let us say आपने 15K, 20K, 25K, that depends on you, how much you know about that. Now DI, there are 10 sets and 4 questions. Now if you look at these sets, they can be categorized as table based DI. Yeah, then can be bar graph, line graph. Okay, then there is pie chart, caselet. These are the probable categories. तो हो सकता है हर से दो आ जाए, like 2 sets on pie charts, 2 sets on caselet, 2 on line, table, bar. Now again in this, if there is double, like there could be multiple graphs in a single, multiple in the sense कि एक टेबल भी दी है और एक बार भी दिया है. Let us say they give you the bar and table has some ratio in it, plus there is a bar graph. So you know that it requires large calculation. Okay. If there are pie charts is generally easy. See 2023 solutions. See, I have taken uh, a marathon on DI. Please watch those videos. I have told some interesting techniques to solve questions. Okay, so if you go through them, you will realize that there are certain DI questions which can be solved easily. Now, the good thing about these is like टेबल बार लाइन पाई दीज काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस टेबल में फिर भी आपको हो सकता है इट्स अ बिग टेबल डिपेंड्स ऑन टेबल टू टेबल राइट इन दिस केस यू कैन आंसर इंडिविजुअल क्वेश्चंस if there is bar graph line graph or pie chart you may not be needed to draw the entire table generally हम क्या करते हैं pie chart दिखा we draw the entire table putting all the values so you may be able to answer individual questions let us say out of 4 you answer 2 questions and there are let us say 2 out of 4 in 5 to 6 sets, right? So you can do 10 to 12 questions without even drawing the table of the graph. Table of the graph means bar chart mein values diye, you are making the table and finding the ratios of people and all. So if there is individual question, okay, let us say that it says 5 countries and they give you the number of males and females, ratio of male and female. If they ask the country A plus country C, what is the number of males in them or the ratio of them? So you can calculate individually for those. You do not have to calculate the number of male and female for all the 7, 8 countries. So those kind of questions you can attempt. So try to attempt individual questions. Okay. Do not try that complete set. See, the graph thing, the good thing is you do not have to read the data. केसलेट में क्या प्रॉब्लम होती है केसलेट में यू हैव टू रीड एंटायर डेटा आपको पूरा रीड करना पड़ता है फिर आपको पूरी टेबल बनानी पड़ती है and then solve. Now, if caselet is short, then go ahead and attempt it. If it is long, then avoid it. Okay. So that is the key to attempting the DI. Good thing about caselet is आपने table बना दी, so you can attempt 4 on 4. Graph based में क्या होगा कि there might be 1 or 2 questions which can be done easily. There might be 1 or 2 questions which will require additional data or long calculations. So basically the thing is try to tackle individual questions from graph, tables, etc. And caselet if it is short, attempt it. So this is going to be the strategy to attempt the questions. Try to maximize attempts. Do not focus on sets. If you are attempting only one question per set, that is fine. Okay, हो सकता है let us say एक pie chart में कुछ पूछे central angle. Attempt that, move on, right? No need to attempt the other 3 questions which require huge calculations. So play smart. You can do well on DI also. Quant, quant now let me tell you that it is a mixed bag of questions, right? It has arithmetic, algebra, it will have geometry mensuration, okay? It will have modern math, it will have number system, everything will be covered in this, okay? So now there are 2 things that you need to consider here. First thing is your comfort level or concept, I would say that if you know the concept well, and second thing is length of the question. If now, concept can be classified as clear or unclear. Length could be short, medium, or long question. Okay. Now, if concept is clear, length is short or medium, then attempt it. If concept is clear, length is long, avoid it. I mean, you can attempt it later. Like, आपको concept आता है. Let's say time and work का question है, but lengthy है. You read the question, you realize that it requires a lot of calculation. So attempt it later. If your concept is unclear and whatever be the length of the question, try to avoid that question. ठीक है? नहीं आता है, do not jump into it. Let us say number system, कोई property आपको नहीं आती, do not do it. Even if it is a short question, right? That is why negative, it will end up in negative marks. As I told you, there are ample number of questions and across the 4 sections, 160 questions है आराम से attempt किया जा सकता है. Now coming to LR, LR again it will be like again first you need to know the concepts. I'm sure you are aware of most of the concepts. There will be certain questions which are easy pickings. Let me tell you which are the easy pickings. If you get series based questions, usually easy होता है, easily doable. Okay, then you might get blood relations, okay, directions. In these, see the length of the question. If the length is short, go ahead and attempt these. Syllogisms is easy. Okay. Now there will be some lengthy questions also, like especially you might get some puzzles which have individual questions. Now if you feel that these puzzles are lengthy, avoid them. Okay. Then there will be critical reasoning. Critical reasoning have that assumption, course of action. Okay. This is doable. It will require some reading, but mostly they are doable. ऐसा नहीं होता कि बहुत difficult होता है. They are doable ones. So series, blood relation, directions, syllogisms, okay, one must attempt. And then you have some coding, decoding, and all miscellaneous sort of reasoning questions. Now, if you are comfortable with the topic and you realize the question is short, go ahead and attempt it. Puzzles avoid, because like they will have individual questions. Agar group question aata hai, then attempt it. If it is individual, avoid. If it is group, then attempt it. Usually individually aata hai. Group, let us say they give you a seating arrangement of 8 people and ask 3 to 4 questions, then it is worth spending time on solving it. But if they say 8 people are around sitting around a circle and asking a single question, so it is better to avoid that question. So if you strategically attempt these sections, you will be able to find questions. See, if you are an average student, depends on person to person. If you are an average student, you will find enough questions to clear the cutoff, right? If you're a smart student, definitely you can top this examination. It is about picking the right set of questions, not being rigid, not targeting any specific score. Don't target any score कि मुझे इतना score करना है. Just try to maximize. So that is why I'm mentioning that please go through each section. ठीक है, कुछ लोग होते हैं नहीं मेरी इंग्लिश अच्छी नहीं है, मैं इंग्लिश अटेम्प्ट नहीं करूंगा, और समवन सेज कि मेरी क्वांट अच्छी नहीं है, मैं क्वांट स्किप कर दूंगी. दैट्स द बिगेस्ट मिस्टेक. Ensure that you give time to each section. Maybe like you have 120 minutes, so maybe you can give 15 to 20 minutes per section. Okay, then decide. Let's say you give 15 minutes to English. You are not good at English, but you give 15 minutes. Then you give 20 minutes here, 20 minutes here. Then rest of the time you have, then you can decide which section you wish to attempt. Suppose your quant is weak, okay, but you gave 15 minutes, you picked 5 to 6 questions, and rest, let's say quant and DI was weak for you. Okay, so you gave 30 minutes to these two sections, 15, 15, and then you gave 20 minutes to these, and remaining 50 minutes you tried to maximize LR or English score. So give time to each of the sections. See the paper of all the sections. Sometimes it happens that you are very rigid, you think मेरी logical reasoning अच्छी नहीं है, you skip that part and later realize it was the easiest in the paper. Or you think your quant is weak, but quant turned out to be easy in the paper. So ensure that you visit most of the questions, right? Attempting is a different thing, visiting is another thing. Ensure that you visit all the 160 questions so that you know which are doable ones. So if you pick the doable ones and not panic in the examination, you can easily crack it. It is not a big deal. People are unable to crack it because they get stuck to some questions. They attempt questions they are not sure of. Unclear concept है, attempt कर रहे हैं. Concept clear है, short medium दिख रहा है, try to attempt it. Okay, give time to each section and hence you will be able to maximize the score. Okay, so this is how you are going to attempt the paper. I have uploaded a couple of videos on taken some marathons. I will be taking some more, so please keep a watch on the channel. And if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So I wish you all the best for the examination. On the day of the examination, I'll be doing the exam analysis, discussing what could be the possible cutoffs. And one more thing which I forgot to tell you here is there are some questions with errors. Every year there are questions with errors. So if you find errors, just avoid those questions. ठीक है, डू नॉट रिपीट. मतलब ऐसे नहीं कि 3-4 बार देख रहे हैं कि हाँ मेरा आंसर सही है कि नहीं है. देयर विल बी सम क्वेश्चंस विद एरर्स. क्वांट में हो सकता है, रीजनिंग में हो सकता है. ठीक है, अवॉइड दोस क्वेश्चंस बिकॉज लेटर ऑन दे गिव दैट रिस्पॉन्स व्हेन दे रिलीज द रिस्पॉन्स शीट. They have that option that they rectify those and give the revised like based on, they give full marks to all the aspirants. Now if someone spends too much time on that, they have lost time. A person who did not attempt that question or did it once and just skipped it will get benefit out of it. So if you find errors, just skip them in the questions. If you find errors in questions, skip in the paper so that you save time and attempt some meaningful questions. They release the response keys wherein you can report the errors later on. So these are some crucial points. strategical points. Of course, preparation is one part, which I believe you must have done. But if you attempt the paper strategically, you can crack the examination. So wish you all the best for this exam.